That little girl went to seminary, ultimately, in Kentucky. And I was a tag-along for most of the things that she did. I was the best cheerleader for any of the games. I tried to keep up with her when she was in Kentucky. But she's been good about that. She convinced me that I needed to come to a women's retreat that they were having. Well, number one, the women's retreat has never been my cup of tea. At least at that point, it had not been my cup of tea. So that was number one reason why I didn't want to go to Kentucky to this seminar. But number two, it's scheduled in February. Have you ever driven to Kentucky in February? It's snowy. And I hate snow on the roads. But anyway, she finally convinced me, so I grudgingly went along to Kentucky. Well, that entire women's retreat was just a mind blower. That's all I can tell you. I finally realized, after being with these women for 3 days and with everything they were saying, that I wasn't a Christian after all. Yes, I had been baptized. Yes, I'd always gone to church. But I never opened my heart to God. And until you do that, you're not really a Christian. So on February 19th, 2003, I realized this and I gave my heart to God. You're constantly having ups and downs with your lives, even if you are a Christian. To me, the downs make you a stronger Christian if you really open up your heart and let God take over. But in 2006, I developed breast cancer, for which I had to have a double mastectomy and chemotherapy. So that was fun. Then in 2009, they decided that I had thyroid cancer. So they took me in and whisked out my thyroid. Well, that wasn't the only one. That was not the end of all of this. In 2010, I went into the doctor and thought I had bronchitis or pneumonia, one or the other. And they found that I had cancer of the lung. So I have adenocarcinoma of the lung. The doctors finally told, they had taken me off of the vent after 13 days of being on there. I continually got worse as far as being able to breathe. And so they had finally told my family they could either put me back on the vent, which they didn't think was a good idea, because they didn't know whether they could get me off of it again, or they could go without it and treat me so that I was comfortable and let nature take its course. But they thought that I would not last for 24 hours if they did not put me back on a vent. Well, my family knew how I felt about ventilators, and so they elected to go without. And they knew that I was safe. I was surrounded. But that evening, this was the day after Christmas. That evening, everybody in the church prayed. So I was surrounded by that prayer again. That has been so sustaining. The next morning, Sahara and Jerry came into the hospital. Stop. When I finally got home and they'd repeated the PET scan, and they found that even though I'd only had one treatment of the cancer was basically gone. Some of them had totally disappeared. They were 100%, gone. And then others had been reduced by 50%. So I was only left with a little bit of the mediastinal nodes. And that was it. So we thought we were definitely making progress. And that had to be prayer. That's what it boils down to. I was in God's hands. So it's been an ongoing, and it's been an up and down situation. I've had to stay on oxygen. The most recent scan shows that it's back and it's expanded, but we don't think it's going that fast. But still, I am comfortable with what's going on because of just knowing that God is with me. And I'm going to a better place. Heaven is for real. And if you haven't read that book, you need to do that. To me, it means that you're living a good life. You're living it as Christ would want you to live. And if you've lived that good life with Christ by your side, then when you die, you're going with Him, and that is a gain. If you've ever read anything at all about heaven, I mean, I expect it to be indescribable. It's going to be great. I'm putting out photos of me as a much younger woman at my what do I put it down as a passing. We're having a passing party. That's what I want. I don't want a funeral. We're going to have a lot of joy at this party. But I'm putting out photos of me as a much younger person because I know that when I reach heaven, I'm going into a different body, a much younger body, one that is disease-free, and back to my stylish self again, rather than my pixie haircut, etc., etc. But I want people to recognize me, be able to recognize me when they come to heaven. But that's where we are right now. I wish, I hope to be back at church soon. You'll see me in a mask this time around, though. I thank you. And I think I'll call it quits for the day. So, that's it. That's the piece.